नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानंदमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य. Salutations to thee, O all-pervading being, who appearest in the form of the universe. Salutations to thee, who art of the form of knowledge and bliss. Salutations to thee, who art attained through disciplines and meditation. Salutations to thee, who art realized by the highest knowledge revealed in the scriptures. Good morning. Today, our topic is harmonizing the secular and spiritual in life's journey. Yes, yesterday, one of our friends saying it was an easy topic. So yes, it's easy. Almost all of us know about that. But there are many things when you look at the ocean or sea, it's all water, quite easy. But if you dive deep inside that, you can find many things. So that is our idea to, if we find something. In dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, we found that I was looking for what's the definition of harmonizing. So it says two definitions, one, but it is very similar to one another. Number one, the quality of two or more things going well together and producing an attractive result. An example is the author accomplishes his harmonization through skillful plotting. Second one, the act of playing or singing music that combines with the main tune to make a pleasant sound. Yeah. An example is the harmonizations are especially beautiful and imaginative. The second one, both are beautiful. But from second one, it is like mixing all the different tunes into a single main melody. Different tunes in our life, that many aspects are there. You have to mix with a main melody. It feels as if the creator of the universe is orchestrating a grand symphony with his hands. The master player is playing the piano or something else. And we must align our lives to harmonize with it. We need to blend the diverse emotions and experiences of our lives into this cosmic music. The better one can merge with it, the more skillful they become, and the more joyous their life becomes. The life of Buddhas, Christ, Ramakrishna, Krishna, and other, they did that. So their life is so attractive, full of joy. And even when we think about them, we experience the joy. So let us reflect on our daily lives. From this kind of definition, it is evident that in harmonizing life, various aspects must be delicately balanced to ensure that the journey unfolds in a way that is both enriching and delightful. There should be no disharmony. Everything, see the life of Holy Mother. And so everything is happening there in her life that you can imagine of. So, but you see, so peaceful was her presence. So if someone has a strong inclination to carry others along with them, it suggests that they possess a remarkable capacity or ability to harmonize and integrate diverse elements effectively. They are quite skillful about that, how to do that. Harmonization is only possible when we have a clear understanding of the elements with which we must work. Again, you must understand the nature of Makudi in life of, I'm talking about Holy Mother. You have to understand the nature of Radhudi. You have to understand the nature of dacoit Amzad. You have to understand the Brahmagyani, the nature of Brahmagyani Swami Saradananda and all. And you have to understand your husband Ramakrishna and his disciple Swami Vivekananda also. So when you understand clearly, it will help you to make that harmonization most possible in an easier way, a nicer way. For example, if we wish to beautify the forest park across from our society, it would certainly require the formation of a committee. The clearer my understanding is of the nature of the committee members, the more efficiently I can work with them. In today's discussion, we will strive to clarify our understanding of these various elements in our personalities. And we will mainly take help from our ancient sages, what they thought about our life. From thousands of years ago, they tried it. So mainly we'll, and of course at the end, if time permits, we'll try to connect to our present situation also. In the course of life's journey, an individual who develops a sense of spiritual values comes to a crossing where two main roads lead in opposite directions. In one is the path of prosperity and the other the path of perfection. There's a specific word for that in our ancient scripture, pravritti marga and nivritti marga. The one is the path of prosperity and other the path of supreme good or perfection, whatever word you can use for that. A person finds that if he or she seeks prosperity, he cannot attain perfection. It is very difficult to get perfection in the prosperity in a perfect way. You struggle for that. If he or she seeks perfection, he cannot gain prosperity. Sri Ramakrishna used to get only 5 rupees per month. But he had a perfect life. The one is marked by avarice, greed, and the other by renunciation. On the other hand, Mathur Babu, he was struggling for peace. But he's a zamindar, the landlord. Indeed, the two ways appear as contrary as the goals. Number 1, the search for possessions and pleasures here and hereafter keeps the seeker in bondage, ties him down to the temporal order of endless variety and ceaseless change. So many varieties, so many changes, always happening in our life. Mind is changing, situation is changing, social status is changing, your neighborhood is changing. Whereas the search for the highest good leads the aspirant beyond the relative order, beyond the dualities of good and evil, to the being, the eternal one, who alone is good in the absolute sense. Think about Vidur, the minister of the court of Dhritarashtra. What was happening with him sometimes, but he was doing his duty. He knew whatever the advice that he was giving to the king was not happy with that, but it was his duty. He knew he was following his duty, his dharma. As a minister, this is my dharma. It may taste bitter to you, O king, I must tell that. Why he was doing that? from where he got that capacity? Because his mind was fixed on supreme good, not the temporal good. If you want only temporal good, you can please the king. Only use sweet word. Second point. In the one case, man is haunted by death. In the other, he finds the key to immortality. Number 3. In the one, he gropes in darkness despite his pretension to knowledge. In the other, he is led by the light of all lights. No wonder the world's religious leaders pronounce the two ways be contrary. Same thing, Buddha said, Christ said, Lao Tse says, Ramakrishna said the same thing. Buddha said, one is the road that leads to wealth, another the road that leads to nirvana. Christ, ye cannot serve God and mammon. And Lao Tzu, supreme good is one thing and pleasure is another. He who has little will receive. So who has little, he will receive little. The way of prosperity is not confined to the pursuit of riches. It embraces all secular pursuits, the quest for power, position, academic knowledge, fame, beauty, aesthetic pleasure, and so forth. It's not about the money. While all other pursuits of life are concerned primarily with the temporal, religion is concerned primarily with the eternal. It holds before man the prospect of immortality, freedom from all bondages and miseries, and also the attainment of absolute peace and blessedness. The prerequisite for this is declared to be renunciation of pelf and power. The human mind has not remained wholly occupied with the temporal. This is a strange thing. If you look at your life, just look at your own mind. You are not satisfied with temporal. A strange kind of urge is there inside. You cannot ignore that. But has faced the fundamental problems regarding the world and man from the beginning of his development. So we have a development also inside. We are conscious, we are evolving. Yeah. From the earliest days, humanity in general throughout the world has been preoccupied with diverse temporal interests, possessions, pleasures, power, friendship, beauty, knowledge, fame, etc., etc. Whereas the reflective minds in all ages and all places have generally turned to the ultimate reality beyond. To solve them, some have made it their lifelong task. We have seen the sages, the hermits, they made it a lifelong task. Regarding its attainment as the highest goal of life, they have sought the actual experience of it. Only philosophers, they are happy, they are satisfied with mediate knowledge. They're happy with that. Some intellectual understanding, that's fine for them. But we can see throughout the history that some people, everywhere in the world, we will find some people, they took it seriously. They have not remained satisfied with the findings of speculative reason, having derived preliminary knowledge of the Supreme Being from the authentic scriptures verified by the experiences of the seers and also from the words of the competent teachers. When you read the holy books, you see some name. You see some names. Sometimes you look for their biographies. So they have tried to be convinced of the nature of the reality and the method of attaining it by the rational interpretation of authoritative words. Not only that, they have followed disciplinary courses preparatory to the practice of meditation. This has served as the key to the realization of the truth. What they have seen, when you see in the pages of Upanishads, in Katha Upanishad, we see the self, smaller than the small, greater than the great, abides in the hearts of all living creatures. the man who is free from all desires for the temporal realizes that the glory of the self through the purification of organs and the mind, and thus goes beyond sorrow. First, when you open the page of Upanishad, you find that word. Oh, okay, there's a way to go beyond sorrow. Again, if you turn Chandogya Upanishad, the knower of the self overcomes grief. Oh, there is a way to overcome grief. Sometimes you take it seriously. Then you start your effort. Now, if the question arises, some question may arise. Why does mortal man seek immortality? Imperfect man perfection. Why does finite man aspire after the infinite? Why? The question. We cannot ignore that urge that we are talking about. The truth is that man, a human being, is not really mortal, finite, or imperfect. You see, one day I remember a few months ago when we were discussing some topic in the library. So, there is, you can find in your life, there is you love to be perfect. You try for that. Why? Because at some point of your life's journey, you have experienced what is the perfection means. You have an idea, must have an idea. When you cook something to eat, you must have an idea. It is going to taste like sour or bitter or sweet. When you have an idea about that, then you try for that. So it shows that you do not know when it happened to you, but some point you had an experience of perfection. That's why you are trying to regain that state. So he only appears to be so, being identified with the psychophysical garb he or she wears for the time being. As the knower of the body, the organs, and the mind, he is distinct from them all. What you see, what you experience, what you know is different from you. So as you experience your mind, states of buddhi, states of body, so you are. It shows that you must be distinct and separate from all those things. At the back of every wave in the ocean, there is the same boundless mass of water. Similarly, at the back of every finite center of consciousness, there is infinite consciousness. Just as an apparent form differentiates the wave from the ocean without separating it, similarly, the finite self is differentiated from the all-pervading self by the veil of ajnana, we call ignorance, that creates seeming separation. We do not know about that. That's why we gave the name ajnana. Jnana means knowledge. We do not know about the nature, why it happened. The difference between a worldly man and a spiritual person is this: the former seeks God unknowingly and even wrongly, while the latter seeks God knowingly and by right methods. Here's the difference. He knows the method. The true purpose of religion is twofold: awaken the human mind to the supreme goal of life and to lead the way to its attainment, plus show it and that there is a goal, and then it gives you the method to attain that. Religion is the only human pursuit that is concerned particularly with the eternal, whereas all other pursuits of life are connected particularly with temporal. Even philosophy, arts, literature, considered as noble vocations of life, usually subserves man's, a human being, secular interests. Religion holds before man the prospect of immortality, of perfection. The great saints and seers and spiritual leaders belonging to the different religions of the world declare in one voice that they have reached the goal, Their exemplary lives and sublime teachings carry conviction. I was thinking about the conviction. You may remember the life of Swami Vivekananda when he was a student. So he was very sincere, a seeker of truth. When he was studying the college, this kind of question arose in his mind. So the known spiritual leaders in that time in Calcutta, he was going door to door. Sir, have you seen God? So their answer was indirect, no direct answer. Some says, your eyes is like a yogi. But when he met Sri Ramakrishna, he with conviction told, yes, I have seen God and I can show you. So it is the power of conviction. But even though the great spiritual leaders declare in one voice that renunciation provides the only access to the kingdom of God, not many can give up their earthly treasures for its sake. Not many can turn away from the temporal values to the search of supreme good. Even those who have neither property nor position could passionately struggle for them rather than seek the kingdom of God. Neither force or compulsion nor inducement can turn a person from the way of prosperity to the way of supreme good. The sense desires are too firmly rooted in man for him to submit to either of these means. Because here the question comes of inner development, that arts generally comes from inside. The way of supreme good cannot be pursued under compulsion. It is a way of inner development, the realization of man's innate perfection. It has to be chosen out of free will and followed with earnestness and devotion. So, now again, many questions arise here. So, we are trying to see what was the scheme of the sages. So, the problem we should understand. So, next problem may come. So, is the spiritual life then intended only for the scanty few who can forego all that is perishable for the sake of the imperishable? Cannot the seekers of prosperity prepare for the kingdom of God? Here's the question. So, it is a sin to acquire wealth? No, absolutely not. The Vedic religion takes into account both the ways. It views man or a woman as a whole and presents a complete scheme of life. Fully conscious of the mighty hold that the world of experience has on human minds, the Vedic seers formulated a scheme of religious life to include the seekers of temporal well-being as well as the seekers of spiritual values. So, the Vedic religion has two distinct courses, the way of activity, or maybe you can again say it, way of prosperity, you can say, pravritti marga, and the way of renunciation, or nivritti marga, characterized respectively by desire and desirelessness. The former is intended to lead to plenty and pleasure here and hereafter, whereas the latter is intended to lead to supreme good. Manu, perhaps you have heard. So Manu, a well-known codifier of the Vedic rules of life, remarks, activity, that is pravritti, and renunciation, that is nivritti, are the two forms of the Vedic discipline for the attainment of prosperity and happiness, and for the attainment of supreme good. The way of activity and the way of renunciation are respectively the way of prosperity and the way of supreme good. It reminded me about Holy Mother. How sweetly she told, Jar ache she mapo, jar nei she jopo. To attain the supreme goal, those blessed with material wealth should generously offer it to noble causes, serving society as a reflection of God, like Virata Murti, the cosmic form of God, the society, And for those who does not have worldly possessions, let them dedicate their pure hearts to contemplating and chanting God's name. The guiding principle of the way of activity is the practice of virtue. In the search of wealth or in the search for pleasure, the seeker should by no means deviate from the moral course. Renunciation does not necessarily mean giving up all activities and possessions. Primarily, it is a dispassionate attitude to the temporal consequent on spiritual awakening. That is to say, the turning of the mind to the eternal. The main condition for way of renunciation is freedom from desires for all that is transitory and longing for the eternal. You may remember that incident what Sri Ramakrishna told Mathur when Sri Ramakrishna and the big team, they are going to the Kashi. On the way, they got down to pay their visit in Vedanta Shiva temple. It comes in between. So there Sri Ramakrishna found a lot of needy people. Some famine was going on. They were starving. So seeing them, Sri Ramakrishna told Mathur, who is the sponsor, who was the sponsor. He told Mathur, please give them a strange word, a full stomach meal, some clothing, and give me some oil also to use for their hair. So it's interesting, different. Then Mathur Babu told that, but my father, how we can do that? We have just started our journey. We need money. If in the very beginning we lose everything, how we can proceed? Sri Ramakrishna firmly told in a childlike way, so I am sitting here with all these starving people. I do not want to go to Kashi. Because he could see the Shiva in stone is same in Shiva in flesh. Same, it was same to him. I cannot go. Here he is starving and I cannot go like that. So Mathur Babu, and then he told, that is the way. So you are the executor of money that mother had given you. That you are the only storekeeper of mother's money. You are the treasurer. But that money is not yours. It is that divine mother's money. So don't forget that. So it is like to swing that Mathur's mind from temporal to the supreme, what is ultimate truth. So this is the way. These masters of religious world, they knew how to do that. From simple sentence, but they did that in that way. Though the discipline of the way of activity, pravritti marga, a person can gain affluence and happiness not only in the world, but also in the worlds beyond. But why? Why? There must be reason. Why do we have to think about the supreme good also, not only temporal good? Why? Some logic must be there. So in our scriptures, we get a lot of that kind of quotation. We can just shine pune punne martalokam vishanti. What does it mean? It says that, and Bhagavad Gita also. He can strive for merit adequate to reach the very climax of temporal glory and enjoyment after death. If you do all those that yagyas, fire sacrifice, and at the cost of a lot of money, you can do that. But if you have an idea to enjoy the merit out of that, there is a question. What is the question? This means an immeasurably long term of life in the highest realm of sense fulfillment, such as a celestial paradise you may get. But he cannot reside there forever. Having experienced the joys and splendors of the heaven for a long, long period, until the merit that leads him there is exhausted, he comes back to this earth. You have to return. Just like same, you want for a visit, for a tour, you want to go to Europe or some other place with some money. but at some point you have to return. Same thing. If you want the enjoyment in swarga, in Sanskrit they call, in heaven, but at some point when that merit will be, when it will be exhausted, you have to return. In Bhagavad Gita, it says in 8th chapter, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Norjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. According to the predominance of merit and demerit accruing from work, the follower of the way of activity continues to pass from lower to the higher world and from the higher to the lower, repeatedly undergoing 4 conditions of life: birth, growth, decay, and death, with happiness and misery alternating. So, what does it mean? Abrahma Bhuvana Loka. Vijnana Bhikshu, he told very nicely. The suffering arising from decay, death, etc. is common to all beings. And beginning from Brahma down to the plant. So Brahma is the highest being you can think about. A lot of power. He can live a long years, and a plant, maybe a grass, is same. Both is suffering because the time is limited. After some point, you have to relinquish the post. So in Bhagavad Gita it says, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Norjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. All the worlds, O Arjuna, including the realm of Brahma, are subject to return. But after attaining me, O son of Kunti, there is no rebirth. So you have to attain me. On the contrary, the follower of the way of renunciation, that is Nivritta Marga, gets out of the creative order, characterized by duality and dependence. By withdrawing the innermost self and realizing its unity with the Supreme Self, the fundamental reality free from real limitations, luminous and blissful. So this is called Nivritti Marga. And in dictionary it says Nivritti means the path of turning away, and Pravritti, turning on. The work, the Karma Kanda or the work section of the Vedas deals primarily with the way of activity, and the knowledge section, that is Jnana Kanda, with the way of renunciation. The way of activity is also intended to lead to the same ultimate goal, although its immediate purpose is the attainment of prosperity. As preparatory to the way of renunciation, so both are important. Pravritti Marga, sometimes it have like a stepping stone. That we have discussed, that forcefully you cannot put somebody in the path of renunciation, in path Nivritti Marga. But as a stepping stone, you need maturity. So it will help you to get that maturity. That's why it is not, we are in scripture also we can get that Shankara, when he is giving commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he told, having created the world, the Lord, willing to preserve it, at first created the Prajapatis, the creators, the progenitors, Marichi, and rest, and enjoined on them the way of activity. You just expand this universe. And stated, as stated in the Vedas, and then created Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumar, others, and the rest, and instructed them in the way of renunciation, characterized by knowledge and desirelessness. So both are needed. Both are needed. The religion of the Vedas is a twofold way, the way of activity and the way of renunciation. This twofold religion, in which one of the ways, the direct means to prosperity, and the other to supreme good, is the basis of world order and security, and was followed by the members of the different castes, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and the rest, Shudras. and of the different ashramas, that is brahmacharya, garastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, 4 stages of life. Student, family, life, it goes on. And at the, at the end, it comes sannyasins. Literally, this for world order and security, both the ways are essential. Both of them are as old as mankind. They exist side by side. Without the way of activity, the way of renunciation cannot function. And the former, unless directed to the latter, cannot hold it on. Many times it happened. Yesterday also it happened. And so sometimes, especially young boys and girls, whenever, and many other devotees also, if they want to do something, we always encourage them, do that. I remember a few years ago, somebody wanted to start a business. He had some kind of government job also. So there was a constant source of earning was there. So I'm talking about Indian, a village. So that person, a very nice person, nice human being, he wanted to start a business. Why not only he from the childhood, he was a good student, so he had a government job also. But at the same time, he wanted to help the others, the common poor villagers, so that they can earn something. So he started a business, and it went on for years. But after 5 or 6 years, he found it is becoming very difficult to carry on both the jobs. And as a simple person, somebody cheated him from in the business. The person on whom he was depending, they cheated him. So they leaked many business details to other competitors. So now, but when he heard that, it did not, actually I was not worried about that, because when I encouraged him, idea was his intention was good. So he wanted to do some good thing. He has a nice desire to help others. He started, but at the same time, I knew. So he has some kind of superficial idea of business. He didn't think about the challenges that might come afterwards. So he need that experience. So when after 4 or 5 years he experienced, it is very difficult to do that. So my point was about his experience, not whether he is becoming rich or poor, nothing, because he had that constant income. So that is the thing. In Pravriti Marga, the way of activity give you experience. From the experience, you can understand the nature of the world, the nature of your individual soul. Here, you know your capacity, your drawbacks now. So now, when you understand fully, from that experience, you can go further. So that is the way that sages knew that. So they always introduced that it is the basis of world order and security. If the military people they go to the monastery, what will happen? So you need both. You need military person also and the monks also. They will give you that mental food, spiritual food, and the physical protection. The military people they will give. So it is very much necessary. The two ways religion, that is dharma, are, as it were, the centrifugal and the centripetal forces that make the human world rightly run its course. So there is a different, sometimes we tell that, you see, religion is not equal to dharma. The word that in Sanskrit we use the dharma, so is not the religion actually. So dharma, in different, depending of the context, you have to understand that. So like that, the Sanskrit word dharma, which is usually translated as religion, is not sufficient. Etymologically, it means that which upholds. Remember, dharma, dhri, from the Sanskrit word dhri it comes, that upholds is important. In the words of Mahabharata, It denotes particularly the law or the principle that upholds the world order. It has also restricted meanings, that is, virtue, duty, and the characteristics of a person or a thing. So he is a nice person. He is a nice son. He is a nice mom. She is a nice mom or dad. So dharma. He is a nice teacher. In true sense, he is a teacher. So true sense means, what does it mean? So he is fulfilling the dharma of a teacher. According to Kannada, the dharma is that which leads to the attainment of prosperity and supreme good, both. Dharma means. So attainment of prosperity means abhudaya. Again, beautiful udaya. So udaya means to rise, abhudaya in all direction. So abhudaya and nishreyasa, the ultimate good, supreme good. This means that the way of prosperity and the way of supreme good both are in accord with the law or principle which maintains the world order. There is in formulating the scheme of life, the teachers of Vedic religion have kept in view 4 main human objectives, 4 goals of human being, everyone wants. And the word is Purushartha. Purusha, the human being, don't think like only male, no. Purusha means here context is for all. What is that? Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So here dharma has a different meaning. Here dharma means virtue. Virtue, wealth, that is artha, pleasure, that is kama, and liberation, moksha. Wealth and pleasure belong to pravritti marga, the way of prosperity. You want that. You want that wealth and pleasure. So it belongs to pravritti marga. So what is left? It left that virtue and liberation, the last one, the dharma and moksha. So moksha only, it is liberation to nivritti marga. And virtue is common to both. So you need virtue in pravritti marga also, you need virtue in nivritti marga also. Of these 4, liberation or supreme good is the ultimate value. The rest are instrumental, being preparatory to the knowledge of truth, which alone makes man free. Virtue is the sine qua non, the essential condition for the supreme good, as no spiritual unfoldment is possible without it. Not only that, it is indispensable to material welfare also. So virtue and not wealth is considered to be the primary object of life. So we'll try to discuss further. But such a view may not readily appeal to a person of the world. What you are saying? You are talking about virtue. Talk about something about money. So it's true, but we can, the logic is there. That's why we are here. We are trying to penetrate what is behind the idea of the both things, why they are saying like that. So generally, the dictum, very nicely here, I got a very beautiful quotation. He or she believes, the common person like us, he or she believes he or she has a greater chance for securing prosperity and happiness by sacrificing moral principles than by adhering to them. The dictum, honesty is the best policy, may be good, according to him, for winning the kingdom of heaven, but not the citadel of fortune. I want that also. The ancient seers, however, saw things differently. Why? We'll see. Virtue, that is dharma, means inner excellence and worthiness for the performance of an individual's duties towards himself and others. So it includes intellectual abilities as well. Manu enumerates wisdom and knowledge under virtue, that is dharma, which according to him consists of 10 qualities. What is dharma? He gave 10 criteria. Sometimes we think about Reading holy books is dharma. Going to church or temple is dharma. It's okay. But if you do not have any book, what will happen to you? If there is nearby church or temple, what will happen? So we have no dharma. So it is inner wealth. So he's talk about first contentment, forgiveness, uprightness, non-stealing, cleanliness, self-control, wisdom, knowledge, truth, and equanimity. These 10 pillars of dharma. Moral growth will provide me with inner strength, empowering me from within. Without it, even if I achieve intellectual growth and may be perceived by others as powerful, I will not be able to stand tall with dignity before my own self. One is Atma Shakti. With that, you can stand tall. You may be a poor person, but inside you are happy, you are strong, there is conviction in your word. But you may be a great scholar, if you are a famous person, but when you are alone, you cannot stand even. So that is the thing. According to the Vedic standard, the early part of life has to be devoted exclusively to the cultivation of virtue. That's why. So we start when you are young, with a young boy or young girl. We always, as a father or mother, you try to give them, impart good knowledge, moral strength, because you know it is the good time, it is suitable time to impart something good when they are young. So, same thing, according to the Vedic standard, the early part of life has to be devoted exclusively to the cultivation of virtue. It emphasizes moral development more than intellectual, whereas the modern system of education stresses intellectual growth, ignoring the moral. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, we find that a preceptor gives the following instruction to his people on the eve of his returning home after graduation. What? Satyang vada dharmang chara. So it goes like, speak the truth, do your duties, swerve not from your study. After satisfying the teacher with gifts due to him, you shall marry and have children. Never deviate from truth, never fail in your duty, never neglect your welfare. Everything is important. Never neglect your prosperity, never neglect study and teaching. Do not disregard your duties toward God and ancestors. Serve the mother as a god, serve the father as a god, serve the teacher as a god, serve the guest as a god. You should do such deeds as are unreproachable. You should do such virtuous deeds as we have done. So preceptor also had that conviction. We have done. So when he uttered those words, that it penetrates in the mind of the people. Teacher did that also. You see both the things, not only dance. So take care of yourself also. A man should try to prosper in this world by the honest and efficient discharge of the duties of his station in life. Wealth or position gained by any means is insecure and may even be harmful. We can see around us. Newspaper are there, news channels are there. Worldly success without corresponding inner development is no mark of progress. For the secret of man's strength, wisdom, freedom, and happiness is not in his external resources, but in his inner nature. These things come not from any marketplace. It comes from here. Wealth does not bring wisdom. Machinery does not generate moral force. Mastery over physical nature does not lead to self-mastery. Sense enjoyment does not assure health and happiness. Man's inner well-being is much more important than pomp and power. He cannot rest satisfied with the fulfillment of physical needs and cravings. Sometimes I noticed many people, when you have a lot of money, sometimes you are too much become restless. Everything is there. You have a good house, many things there. But suddenly when you have a lot of, so you start thinking, oh, okay, that part of my house is not working well. Maybe such a, that part you have to change. So just think about that. He or she had maybe everything, but it started giving option. Unnecessary. But you see a poor person happily living in a small house. So it is nice to see all those things. We want to see in operation table. Eh? We want to open every corner of the body. So we must not forget that man's problem and human's problem are mainly psychological, never than biological. Generally speaking, the wealthy have more agonies than those who live in hardship and privation. As long as a man has moral weakness, such as jealousy, hatred, anger, fear, pride, lust, or greed, he or she will have trouble wherever he may be. A fortune seeker may amass wealth huge enough to convert night into day, yet without inner light, he cannot see his way in life. When it was started in India, cricket is a very great thing. So I remember 30, 40 years ago, I think, is a daylight cricket match was started. So when you have money, you can do that. You can convert night into day. But if you do not have any inner light, you cannot see your way of life itself. The next step, how to decide, what is wrong. Whether a person believes in God or not, he must fear in his dealings with his fellow beings. By dishonest means, one may gain opulence but not happiness. He who is habitually dishonest, who earns money by falsehood, who injures others, attains no happiness in this world, says Manu. We have seen. So the seeker of happiness should in no way transgress virtue, but virtue arises happiness from vice suffering. But as we told, that the point is, to follow the way of renunciation, a person has to outgrow the sense desires. One cannot seek the eternal as the goal of life unless he is free from attachment to the temporal. Neither suppression nor overindulgence is the way. The spirit of renunciation should develop in due course through a well-disciplined life of experience. Experience is so much important. It cannot be imposed upon him. This is why the Vedic religion encourages men and women with worldly tendencies to seek material welfare. Yet at the same time, it enjoins on them certain moral and religious disciplines. There is a story. So Swami Vivekananda used to tell very beautifully that take man where he stands and from there give him a lift. That is Swami Vivekananda's word. There is a beautiful story in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It said that gods, men and demons, that is asuras, all descendant of Prajapati, the Brahma, the progenitor Brahma, lived with him as students practicing austerity. After a period, the gods said, "Kindly instruct us, sir. We have went through a lot of austerities, spiritual discipline. Now give some instruction." Prajapati uttered the syllable da, and said to them, "Have you understood?" They replied, "Yes, we have." "You tell us, Damayata, be self-controlled." "Yes, you have understood," said Prajapati. Sometimes it a strange kind of thing. You see, sometimes I see when after maybe library session, after the lecture, Swami, you have told. Okay, that I told. Means I told something, he or she understood in his or her own way, because it is mind that really hears. It is not the ears. It is the mind hears. No. So mind was in that condition. So there is a color, a lit of color, there. What I told is quite different from what he or she understood. So here also, you see, you can understand like that. Maybe if you are a music teacher or in your class, you told something. Or if you're a doctor, you told something. But please repeat, he will tell something different. It happens because mind is there in between. It's not about the words, minds. Everything A, B, C, D is the same. But mind is not same. So here, please give some instruction. So it is just a story. He uttered the. So did you understand my hint? Yes. You wanted to utter damayata, be self-controlled. And the Brahma told, yes, you have understood. Then the men said, they came, kindly instruct us, sir. Prajapati uttered the same syllable, the, and said to them, have you understood? They replied, yes, we have. You tell us, datta, be charitable. Yes, you have understood, said Brahma, Prajapati. Then the demons, the asuras, said, kindly instruct us, sir. Prajapati uttered the same syllable, the, and said to them, have you understood? They replied, yes, we have. You tell us, dayadhvam, be compassionate. Yes, you have understood, said Prajapati. So what we learn from here? The three moral ideas of self-control, charity, and compassion are intended for three different types of men. Sometimes in mythology, in television, you see, no, it's about mind. In mythology, they wanted to fabric some stories. Otherwise, the children would not see that. Okay. Then, they are all to be practiced by human beings according to their inner development, self-control, charity, and compassion. The cruel should practice non-injury and strive to be compassionate. That is demons. Demons among the men. The avaricious, general human being, we have little greed, should overcome greediness by charity. So for us, charity. And those who are free from other vices but still have sense desire should particularly practice inner control. In this context, Shankara remarked in his commentary, those among men who, though lacking in self-control, are possessed of other good qualities are the gods. So there are gods in human, here all. So you see, Acharya Shankara told, those in whom greed prevails are men, while those who are cruel and violent are the demons, that is asuras. So the same human species, according to the three drawbacks, lack of self-control, greediness, and cruelty, and according to the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, are called gods, men, and demons. Therefore, it is men who should learn all the three lessons. So it's time to conclude. So in those days, that's why when they're young, from the society, the parents, the sages, they put a lot of effort to teach them the right thing about life. So they understood that this kind of duties makes each man great in his own place. Be you are a Brahmana, you are a Kshatriya, you are a Vaishya or Shudra. Be you are a Brahmachari, be you are a Grihasthi, you are a Vanaprasthi or Sannyasi. And some duties are there. You have to fulfill all those duties. It promotes both individual and social growth. It calls for the best in each person by preparing him for the social function for which he is naturally endowed. It brings about complete harmony between the individual and the social life. The individual and the society are interdependent. The growth of the society depends upon the growth of the individual, and the growth of the individual upon the growth of the society. Human beings cannot live without mutual help, understanding, and sympathy. From his every birth, man is dependent on his fellow beings. So that's why Vedic religion talk about your duties, not about your claims. We talk, this is our right, give me right. You forgot about your duties. So we should that look at what our duty is. Right will come automatically. Again, Holy Mother, we have seen this simple. Forget about that, about her divinity, but a simple village woman become, we call Sangha Janani, the mother of the this monastic order. When you read much, you'll know more. When you read more, so how she was always thinking about her duties. Just she followed her, never claim any right. So it's a lesson for us. So there, when these students used to return in those days, Vedic ages, they reminded you are mainly a debtor from the society. You got many things from the society, from this universe. You have to return a few days back. And it is a way, I have seen many people who became great, they talk about giving. If you accept 1 unit of thing, return 4 unit of thing. You can read the who became great. That is their principle. If you get 1, give 4 times. If not possible, instead 2 times. So they talk about some rina. We call some rina. They are debtors. We have some rini. We are indebtors. Number 1, service to the seers and the sages. That is rishi rin, we call. All this knowledge. It is not 7 days period. We got all those knowledge for centuries. So we have some that we have to repay that. 2, how to repay that? In the form of study. Culture. Next generation, we came in next generation. We are trying to study. We are trying to experiment in our life. So we will pass that knowledge with practice in the next generation. So that is the way. So in the form of scriptural study. 2, service to the deities in the form of offering oblations. Devarina. How? Deities, which deities? You see, in again Indian tradition, you will find that they call Surya is the god, tree is a god, river is the goddess. How? Sometimes we do not understand. Because they are giver. They never want any return. That sun is giving light and heat. River, agriculture. Trees, many things. So that's why you are uttering that we that Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, be father your God, let think your mother. Why? They were giver. Acharya, teachers are Deva. Why? They are giver. Okay. So service to the forefathers. Again, that thing, because this body. Don't forget about what your that great grandfather did. Because you are here for them only. Your grandfather did. Remember? Then, so it is a Hindu way to think. I still remember you, my grandfather, what I learned from you in my childhood. How beautiful the word. So it makes him happy when you say that. Service to humanity, Nirin, and service to other living creatures also. So all those things. It is talk about Rin. So here we find these duties constitute the bridge between God and the world. So and again Indian tradition we find there's in Swamiji's lectures on Karma Jag we'll find also. In some other occasion we can discuss about that. He talk about the hunter who became a illumined soul. From that about that conversation between the hunter and the disciple, we get the book Vyadha Gita. Again, Swamiji mentioned about a saintly woman in the Mahabharata who performed her household duties with unwavering precision. So a monk went to him, that she went to her, and she actually directed him go to the hunter. Apparently, he is a hunter, but is a knower of Brahman. How He is following, but from forefathers he got that job. What to do? He was just simply following the job. But inside, there is no greed, no personal benefit, just following what I got. But he cultured the highest noble thoughts. That's why he got that illumination. The lady doing household chores, but what was she was thinking about the noble thoughts. So mind, that it got changed. Yatah parabrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhing bindati manava. Krishna told to Arjuna. A human being reaches perfection by adoring through his own duties him from whom is the origin of creatures and by whom is all this pervaded. From the God, everything it is produced, origins. He pervaded everything. So, swakarmana tamabhyarcha, you do worship through your duties. All your the activity, source of activity, from where it came? From him. So, let us pray to him. Abhinayam apanayo Vishnu damaya mana shamaya vishaya mriga trishnam bhuta dayang vistaraya taraya sangsara sagarataha. O thou Lord all-pervading, do thou remove my egoism and calm my mind. Do thou take away from me the illusion of the world. Do thou increase my love for all beings and save me from the ocean of worldly existence. Om, peace, peace, peace.